welcome back to Drinking by My Shelf. Today I'm going to do a video that I'm not sure anyone wants except for me, but I know that I'm always looking for this kind of thing online, so I thought I would bite the bullet and make it for anyone else, and that is giving spoilers to thrillers. I've just picked for this first one, we'll see how it goes, a selection of like 15 or something, popular thrillers that for whatever reason you might not want to read but that you do want to know the endings for, and I am going to very kindly spoil them for you. And then if you like this, do leave me a comment and let me know other thrillers you want me to spoil. Even if I haven't read them, I can do some digging. You're welcome for my services, even though nobody asked for them. Also, little note, even if you do decide to read these books, I just read an article earlier, I will try and find it and link it below, that knowing spoilers apparently actually enhances your enjoyment of a book. So like, I'm not going to tell you every bit of the book, you'll still have the journey to get there, but apparently knowing the ending actually can like help you enjoy it, I guess because you're looking for clues and stuff. So you're welcome, I'm just giving the people what they need. But I don't want you to get accidentally spoiled even within this video for anything that you didn't want to have spoiled, so I'm going to put underneath the time codes for everything so that you can click through only to the ones that you want. The second I say a title, if you don't want to know what happens, pause and go to the next time code. Yeah? I don't want anyone to shout at me for accidentally spoiling something they weren't ready for. Okay, so the first one, I'd be incredibly surprised if you don't already know the answer to Gone Girl, because this was a very big movie as well as a book. This is one of those like super divisive books that a lot of people say was really overhyped. I loved it. I read it before I heard all of the hype. Hipster over here. So I thought it was fantastic. But the twist is the wife is actually a mega villain who is framing her husband for her own murder. Oh my god, shock horror. And while we're on Gillian Flynn, I've also brought over Sharp Objects. In this one, the killer of all the local girls is actually the creepy half-sister. And the reason that she's all fucked up is because the mum has Munchausen's by proxy, and she actually killed the original sister. So the mum gets arrested for all of the murders that are happening in the town, in the story, but actually, plot twist, it was the sister. Dark Places is a little more convoluted, so I might have to give a bit more explanation. Basically, the main character, Libby, her whole family were murdered by her brother when she was a child. But it turns out her brother didn't kill any of them. There were actually like a ton of things going on. So the brother's girlfriend, Deandra, was a Satanist, and she'd like got the brother all caught up in all this crazy stuff, and she convinced him to try and steal money from his family. And while they were doing that, one of the sisters overheard her saying that she was pregnant, and the sister was like, I'm gonna tell our mum. So Deandra just strangles her to death, which is an overreaction, but at the same time, while that's happening, the mother of the family, because they've been having money problems, had hired a hitman to come and kill her, so that her children could claim life insurance. Very sad. So the hitman comes to do that, but he's like very bad at his job apparently, because while he's midway stabbing her to death, one of the other sisters, Debbie, walks in and he's like, oh no, I've been busted, so then he shoots her as well. So it was actually a variety of ways that they all died on the same night. Convoluted AF. The Girl on the Train, another one that has been very hyped up now, but I actually did love it when I read it. So the blurb basically just says that Rachel sees something from her train window that like changes everything, and that's all you know. But what she sees is there's this couple that she sees every day on her commute, and she sees the wife kissing somebody else, and then a few days later the wife goes missing. So Rachel gets like sucked into the whole drama, and it turns out that the person the wife was kissing was her therapist. She'd been having an affair with her therapist, and she also had been having an affair with Tom, who is Rachel's ex-husband. So Rachel's like, nobody believes her because she's just seen as like the crazy ex-wife, and she also has a drinking problem, but it turns out that yeah, her ex-husband Tom murdered this person, and it's like a whole load of drama, but actually really good. In a Dark Wood, so this is a Ruth Ware one. She's pretty popular, even though a lot of people like don't actually like her books that much. This one was really fun, but like so stretched beyond all possible belief that like not super worth reading, so I'll just tell you. The premise here is that the main character has been invited on a hen night, and she wakes up all covered in blood in a hospital, and she's been accused of a murder. So that's what we know from the blurb, and the answer is, it turns out the bride of the hen night murdered the groom, like her fiance, and had invited Nora to the hen night to frame her. And that's why Nora was like, why am I invited? We're not really friends anymore. And it's because she was trying to frame her for murder. And in order to get there were so many stretches of the imagination, like none of that story made any sense. Before I go to sleep, this one is actually super popular. A lot of people like this one. I thought it was kind of trash. I love the idea of memory loss thrillers, but they always disappoint me. Basically, the only one I like is the movie Memento, which I think is really good. So I keep hunting for that perfect memory loss thriller. The Girl on the Train, I guess, was a memory loss thriller, and that was really good. In this one, it's like actual memory loss. It's like 50 First Dates. Like, she wakes up every day and she doesn't remember anything. But the twist is that the man who she lives with, who says he's her husband, he's not her husband. He's actually the man who attacked her 18 years before and gave her the injury that caused her memory loss. Bring Me Back by B.A. Paris. She has written a few thrillers. I've read 2 of them. They were both not very good. Sorry, B.A. Paris. So this one's a bizarre book. So it's about a man called Finn whose love of his life, Layla, went missing like 10 years before, missing presumed dead. And now he's engaged to her sister, Ellen, because they like met and bonded over their grief. So already, what the fuck? But the twist is it turns out that Ellen is actually Layla in disguise, pretending to be Ellen, and the real Ellen has been dead for years. She was murdered by their father, and somehow Finn didn't recognise that this is the same person. And then when he finds out, he then kills Layla. So now they're both dead. Great. And The Breakdown, this is another B.A. Paris one. It was fun, like it was fun to read, but I spotted the twist a mile away. So in this one, she thinks she's going mad, and it's actually that her husband is like trying to make her think she's going mad. Which is a cool story, but also, yeah, like I said, I saw it coming, and also her best friend is in on it. So her best friend and her husband are having an affair, and her best friend was part of trying to make her think she goes mad. And I always never really like that as a twist when it's like someone that you know in the book as a friend suddenly is like so over the toply horrible, and she'd like murdered somebody who found out about the affair, and it's like, how did we not see any inkling of this in the friend's character, that she's actually just like a mega villain? Truly Madly Guilty by Liane Moriarty. So this is the writer who wrote Big Little Lies, fantastic TV show. Haven't read the book, probably not going to, because don't super love her as a writer. So Truly Madly Guilty, like the whole book is so heavily building up to this reveal. It like keeps referring very heavily to this one event, that this incident that happened at a barbecue, and nothing's ever been the same. It's like this big tragedy, and I already don't like that in a book. Like, don't just keep hitting me over the head with the fact that there's a secret you're waiting to tell me, because I stopped caring, especially when the secret was not interesting. So this like big incident, I thought that one of the daughters of this couple were gonna have died, and actually they nearly drowned but then didn't drown and were okay, which obviously I'm sure was a very traumatic event, but was not like a big incident for a book to be hinged on. But then there was another twist, which was just actually very sad, which was that their like super grumpy old man neighbour had seen her almost drown from his window, and had like rushed down the stairs to come and rescue her, and had tripped and fallen and died, and then nobody found him for weeks. So that just was very sad. Okay, the only one on this list that I haven't actually read, but I just wanted to look it up. So that is 9 Perfect Strangers, also by Liane Moriarty, but everyone was kind of talking about it, so I thought, I'm not going to read it, I'm just going to look up what happened, and it sounds very confusing. So if anyone's actually read this, let me know if I've got this right. But it's like these 9 strangers meet at a wellness centre. They're all there trying to recover from something, and they're woken up in the middle of the night and drugged and locked in this room by the woman who owns the centre, and they have to solve this clue to try and get out, otherwise they're in danger, and the clue doesn't even help them, they still can't escape, and then they're told that the building is burning down and they have to get out, and then they discover in the end that the door was unlocked the whole time, and then they just get out and they're fine. And then the woman is like super successful for her unconventional methods of helping people recover from their issues, because having like felt that much fear, it helps them get over their problems. Sounds bonkers. The House Swap. So this was a good story, but I found it quite boring to read. So this is about a couple who do a house swap, but then when they're in the other house, the woman starts finding all these clues around the house that the person they swap with, who they never met, might actually know her. And obviously that person is now currently in their house, so that's really scary. And there's all these hints. She starts to think that it must be Carl, this man that she had an affair with a few years ago while she was married to her current husband. So that's what everything's leading up to. But then, plot twist, it's not Carl. Carl knows nothing about this. The main woman, a few years ago, had been driving under the influence with Carl in the car, and she had killed a teenage girl. And then she had let Carl take the blame for it. But then the mother of the girl found out, and so it is the mother that did this whole thing. So it was a good plot and a good twist, but I just was bored when I was reading it. Sometimes I Lie by Alice Feeney. Okay, this one is so confusing. So I read this one and I was so confused at the time, and then I couldn't quite remember what happened. So for this video, I just spent a while Googling and trying to research it, and I found it really, really hard to piece it together, even from online. So I'm going to give it a go and tell you what I remember happened. Our main character, Amber, is in a coma, so the whole book is from her perspective, and she can hear everything that's there, but she obviously can't talk to people. So we have that in the present day, and we know that she has a sister called Claire and a husband called Paul. Then we also get these childhood diaries where that are written about her friend Taylor, who she's really jealous of and whose family are much nicer than hers. But then the twist, which was genuinely surprising, I did enjoy that at the time, is that the diaries are actually not written by Amber, they're written by Claire, who isn't Amber's sister, she's her friend. And Taylor, the character of Taylor in the diary, is Amber, who as a child went by her surname, Taylor. So Claire was really, really jealous of Amber/Taylor and actually burnt down her own house, killing her own parents, so that she could get adopted by Amber/Taylor's family, which she did. So that's where they're now sisters. But then Amber also grew up to be a murderer, and this is where I get really confused, and I can't remember which way round, like which one of them is actually in the coma, but I know that they then like kill the other one. But also the whole thing is quite ambiguous, because like one of the first things that the narrator says to us is, sometimes I lie, so it's like maybe she's lying about a lot of this stuff, we don't really know. Too many twists can spoil the broth. That's a saying. But talking of liars, did everyone see the whole AJ Finn scandal? I'm sure you did. So the woman in the window was, I didn't think, worth the hype. It was just kind of a Girl on the Train knockoff, if we're being honest. So Anna witnesses a murder through her window, but then nobody believes her because she is an agoraphobic alcoholic, and they just think that she is making it up. And then twist, she did see a murder, but it was actually committed by Ethan, the teenage boy who she's been befriending this whole time. So it's another of those like plot twists, you thought you knew this character and actually they are totally evil and it doesn't reflect anything that you knew about them up until that point. But then like the mask comes off and then they do the whole evil villain speech of I fooled you. I don't like those twists. I find them boring. Oh, but there was another mini twist in this, which was actually very sad, which is that the husband and daughter that Anna talks to every day are actually dead. They died months ago in a car accident that Anna caused, and that's why she is now afraid to leave the house, and pretending to talk to them is how she deals with that. Behind her eyes. So this one had a lot of people annoyed at the ending. They even used, like, the marketing was that they used this hashtag, what the fuck that ending, to get people talking about it. But it was kind of split into people who were like, whoa, that ending was so cool, and people who were like, no, just like, what the fuck, that ending, that's so weird. I was in the latter one. Basically, in the book, people can learn to lucid dream, and then in their dreams, they can go through this doorway, and then they can actually, like, see through, get into, like, another person's body. So the whole ending hinges on the fact that Adele, who's, like, the villain of the story, switches bodies in this dream with our main character, Louise, and then sets a fire, so Adele dies, but actually, that was Louise, and Adele then lives on in Louise's body. And then there's another twist, which is that this whole time, Adele also actually died years and years ago. It's actually been this man called Rob, who had done the swap with Adele and stolen her body, and now he's stolen Louise's body, and he's just, I don't know, he's on a body-stealing rampage. Okay, then finally, We Were Liars. This one I actually hope that you will read. I know a lot of people didn't like this one. I loved it, and I was, like, genuinely mega surprised by the twist. So I kind of recommend that you stop watching now. But if you're going to stay watching, I will tell you the twist is they're all dead. Other than the main character. The main character had this, like, traumatic thing happen to her, and now all of her friends aren't talking to her. It's her cousins. They, like, haven't contacted her at all. And eventually she goes back with her family to the, like, summer home where this event, we don't know what it was, happened, because she has no memory, she doesn't know either. And she's hanging out with her cousins all summer, but they're super mysterious. And then plot twist, they're actually dead. And the traumatic event is that she, in, like, a prank gone wrong, ended up setting fire to the house and killing all of her cousins. So that's why they haven't contacted her, because they're dead, but she doesn't even remember that. I thought it was brilliant, lots of people didn't. So those were some spoiled books for you. I hope that was at all useful. Do comment below and let me know any other books that you want me to spoil, because I found that fun. I will either read them if I want to read them, or I will go down that rabbit hole. I'm not saying I'm a hero, but you know, you could give me some medals. So give this video a thumbs up if you liked it, and hit that subscribe button below for new videos every week. See you next time!